Feces hit the proverbial oscillator with the latest developer blog for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, where they announced that on August 3rd, they will be dropping 3 new types of crates that can be purchased using the in-game currency. However, one of these types of crates must be opened using a key that can only be purchased with actual Skrilla for $2.50. This sent the subreddit into a shitstorm, even more so than it's been with the recent Dr. Disrespect incident, considering that the PUBG FAQ stated that microtransactions were only going to be added after early access, going back on a promise they made to the community. I mean, the game isn't even out of early access yet, and they're already milking their fan base and going back on promises about both the release date and micro DLC. However, before you get your pitchforks out to burn the bitch down, context matters a lot here. In the blog post, it states that these 3 crates uphold the cosmetic-only part of the micro DLC promise made to consumers. They contain clothing, which is inspired by the movie Battle Royale, and 2 of the crates, the Survivor crate, containing this bright little pink number here, and the Wanderer crate, that has this outfit that looks similar to shit that's already in the game, will both be free. You don't need to buy a key, only purchase them using the in-game currency that you get by just playing the game normally. The final crate, however, the one that needs the $2.50 key to be opened, is the Gamescom crate, with the chances to get a lot more clothing options, including this yellow jumpsuit that sticks out like a boner at a convent. The proceeds from this particular crate will go towards some charities of their choice, along with the organization and prize pool of a LAN tournament for the game that will be held during Gamescom, in which people that attend the conference could potentially play against some of the most well-known content creators. Once Gamescom is over on August 27th, that particular crate goes away, and we're left with the other 2 that are free. Part of the rationale for implementing this now, during early access, also seems to be testing the system to see if the drop rates and value proposition is correct for the full release. More on that in a second, considering that there are already items selling on the Steam Marketplace for upwards of $300 fucking dollars that people have gotten in the game for free. But we all know that this is a recalculous excuse, as the Steam store handles the key purchase aspect of this whole ordeal. It's unclear if the crate will contain an entire outfit or just one piece of clothing, which you'd need at least 3 or 4 to complete the entire outfit, as currently crates only contain 1 item of clothing, be it a shirt, pants, boots, etc. However, there are crates, like the Twitch Prime set, that contain multiple items. There's also concerns with the things that PlayerUnknown has said in the past, like in the full release there will be no free crates, and he wants this game to last for several years, thus the micro DLC model will need to sustain development when game sales eventually taper off. So, throwing all of this into a shit stew, how does it taste? Some people draw a hard line in the sand on micro DLC or DLC and early access games. We gave Ark Survival Evolved shit for releasing DLC while still in early access, and it appears that the game will finally get a release on August 7th of this year. Normally, I'd agree, since early access is already a sleazy business practice to have the game tested by people that are not on your payroll, and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds has sold millions of copies, giving the development team more than enough resources to spend on additional developers to fix issues within the game. But, given the context I mentioned earlier, I am not as angry. With the funding going to charity and having a tournament that is essentially marketing to entice more players to purchase the actual game once seeing it in action, and thus giving them additional revenue to hire even more developers by doing it the right way from game sales instead of micro DLC sales. Therefore, the sales of the micro DLC items won't change the priority of the development team, since they're hoping that this will lead to an increase in the primary revenue stream, which is through game sales, and the sales of the game keeps the focus of the development team on doing what we want them to do. Fix the fucking shit. Unless, that is, they decide to line their pockets with the money, which, from the rate of updates and communication for this particular early access game, is far and above and beyond what others have pulled in the past. I don't really foresee this happening. Besides, these aren't the same crate drops that were in H1Z1 that contained items that impacted gameplay. These crates only contain cosmetic items, which, if anything, will negatively impact your gameplay with the obvious colors of these skins. Most in-game characters appear as black dots at most distances, unless you're in a ghillie suit where you look like a 70s porn star with a giant bush, so this crate won't have any effect on gameplay, like people being harder to spot. We know that this shit has happened before, an alarm bell should be going off, but given the circumstances in this case, I'm not that outraged at the move. They're striking a good balance between adding new beepity bops like an upcoming rifle and first-person servers, even though they're not really high on my priority list, as well as patching optimization issues and fixing bugs. The game is in a much better state than back in April, when text spacing for warning messages was an issue, but there are still things that need to be improved before we can call it done. If this micro DLC kerfluffle spawns into more paid content before early access and priority shift from fixing shit to cosmetics, then I'll object when that time comes. What do you guys think about this fiasco? I've been the Schwantz27 off like the bug spray. Until next time.